Okay, so welcome to another episode of Entab CampusCare EdTalks, an exclusive platform where we invite pioneers from the education industry to share their years of experience and insights with us. So, before moving forward, let me introduce you to Entab. With an experience of more than 2 decades, Entab has been associated with over 1,500 schools across India, evolving them to become new age digital campuses by providing them mature and futuristic ERP, CRM, and mobile apps. In today's session, we'll discuss that should sign language be a part of school curriculum? We'll also understand that there's a need to train teachers first so that they can further work with students. We'll also learn that how can governments and local initiatives help us in doing the same. So to discuss the same, we have Mrs. Seema Chhotu Sheikh, Principal, Pragnya Bodhini High School, Mumbai. In her educational journey of more than 3 decades, ma'am has been associated with various prestigious institutions. She has also presented her paper in the National Peace Conference, Delhi. So, welcome to the show, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, yes, ma'am, you are on mute, ma'am. You were saying something? Okay,
No,
okay. Okay, okay.
I was just saying hello,
Hi to
and this is the sign language. What means is good afternoon.
okay, it's good afternoon.
Okay?
Okay.
That's good afternoon in sign language.
Yes. Okay, so ma'am, moving forward, for more than last 3 decades, like DD News has been presenting its bulletin in sign language, but India still not recognizes it as the official language under the constitution. So, ma'am, what are your thoughts on the same?
Definitely, I agree that we are far behind where importance to sign language is given. But if you say whether India is really looking into the importance of sign language or not, I will have certain differing views.
Mm-hmm.
100 years back, that India has indulged into sign language. Unfortunately, it has not taken an official platform, and that is why I think today we don't have our official sign language. So we don't have ISL. We have to follow the British Sign Language or the ASL, what is the American Sign
I
Language.
can sign language.
And in 2010, I think after we started talking about inclusivity and right to education, this took a greater speed of trying to see that we reach out to all. But
Mhm.
as you know, that on the political scenario, it took time, and it was the deaf community itself who objected to some of the points which were mentioned in it. So that's why it took a backseat. And from 2015 onwards, the work has started progressing. But I think it will be in the near future that ISL will be coming on board. And because the coding has already started and the government is making a dictionary of this, and we have a very designated institution for this purpose. So
Mhm.
very soon we will be having our Indian Sign Language, and maybe they are waiting for this. You always know there is red tapeism. So once that is in place, I think all this which we even see on the Doordarshan, the news we see in sign languages, this will become mandatory for everyone, even if it will be compulsory for everyone to follow and learn sign language. That's what is my take on it.
Absolutely, ma'am. So, ma'am, moving forward, like one of the prime reasons for sign language not being a part of school curriculum is that our teachers are not maybe not trained to teach sign language. So, ma'am, what are your thoughts on the same? Like, and how do you have like do you have any teacher in your school who is trained to do the same?
Um, Thank you for that question. Now, the first thing I feel, your first part of the question, I feel that teachers should definitely be trained.
Mm.
And we right now do not have any child with hearing disability, because there is one more reason for that not having is that parents of the EDA children, they themselves are a little they are a little concerned about sending
Concern.
children to such kind of school, because they feel that learning really doesn't happen.
Mm.
The second thing is that about the trained teachers. Yes, training is very, very essential. I will talk later about the kind of training which is essential and the kind of practices which are needed in school.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel that we need to look about the child when a child comes to school, this kind of a child. Because we need to understand that this is not a learning disability, not a learning disorder, but it is a communication issue which has aroused because of deafness. The child is not dumb. Because of deafness, the child has been led to non-speaking ability.
Right.
The second thing about it is when the child comes to school, at the entry level itself, there should be this hearing screening, which is not happening in any of the Indian schools. And when I say hearing scrutiny, I don't mean that we need to look only into their ability of listening or hearing, rather. It has to go beyond that because these children's psyche has to be understood. First thing, they have limited exposure to language. What happens is in our Indian scenario, when the child is not able to hear, and when the parents come to know about it, they keep the child away from the society.
Right.
This is the biggest tab. Second thing is language deprivation. Now, this happens especially when the child is living in a community which is for the cosmos community, you can call it.
Mm-hmm.
So, the child is so confused because he has looked at, for example, ao, and that avi jao, ye. This is different neighbor is speaking in Gujarati, the other in Marathi, one in English, one in Hindi. The lip reading doesn't happen, and interpretations of those lip reading differs, and that is why the child is having a very chaotic mental issues. Phonological difficulties arouse out of this. So these need to be understood. There is a lot of trauma in the child's mind because of this kind of a chaotic situation. This leads to cognitive delays. The child is also quite unaware, I will say, about the health hygiene because the parents also are not able to promote this through the required language. So, mental health, physical health, cognitive development, and in general, low quality of life. These are some of the issues which need to be screened when the child is entering the school. And I feel that this is something which is really lacking in our Indian scenario. Be it my state board school, be it an aided school, be it even an ICSE, CBSE, IP school, many times we don't see these kind of screenings. I will not say it is not happening in any schools, but I will definitely say that it is not happening the way it should happen,
Should happen.
meticulously, systematically keeping everything in mind.
Absolutely, ma'am. Very well said. So, ma'am, moving forward, ma'am, in your opinion, how can teaching sign language in schools can open more career options for the kids, like as they are very little competitive in the field?
Now, first of all, let us see how this sign language is going to help the children and how are we going to inculcate it as our system. This is the most important.
Right.
And then we can talk about how it is going to open the career option. So, as I said in the beginning, also, that low quality of life is the biggest issue because they are not able to communicate. Now, what we can do is that as a school, and I think government should make it mandatory for all, that certain things should be in every school. When we talk of and how we can have this inclusive learning, because today NEP is also talking about inclusive, integrated, and joyful learning. So, joyful learning is also the right of these children. So, how can we make it joyful? So, the first thing is that we should have things in place. So, interpreters, tutors, note takers, these are some people who are really needed. Speech therapists, occupational therapists. And if you have an occupation therapist, a speech therapist, I think a lot of problem will be solved. Schools can take a call depending on the number of such children in the school as to what policy they need to form. Should they have something which we call as a partial, a partial hearing class? or a completely hearing class. So when I say partial, that means the child is following a hybrid model. For a while, he is with the children, common class children, normal children, and then he moves to the special class where his doubts, his challenges are taken care of. That is very essential. Again, today's world, when we talk so much about technology, augmented reality, a lot can be really done. So schools who can really afford all these kind of support, I think should be offered. And then even if it's a small ZP school, I say that certain things are definitely possible. For example, when I had one child in the preschool, what I had done at that time was that I used to tell the teacher to see that the children all sit in semicircle so that the child is able to observe every child and keeping him at such a place where he can observe all the children there. So that he could read the lip movement, asking the children to make a special attempt to talk slowly. And thirdly, the teacher standing in such a way that she is visible. I think with all this, his own caliber will improve because I will reiterate that they are not children with learning disability. There is only communication issue. So once they are in alignment with all these children, then I think all kind of avenues of career jobs and learning are open for them. They can be anywhere, right from astronomy to any bank job. Anything is possible for them, and I have seen children doing it.
Yes, yes, yes. Also, ma'am, I can share an example with you. Like, there's a cafeteria in this thing, Hudson Lane, GTP Nagar, by the name of Echoes. And over there, the all the waiters, the chefs which are working there, only the manager can speak and speak. Then he have like all his senses. He can
Yes, yes,
speak,
yes,
hear,
yes.
and
A
listen.
normal life.
Yeah, normal one. And then all the waiters, they're working there, the chef who are preparing the food. So everything, everyone has a this thing, like either they are they have communication problem, as you mentioned.
And I made a deliberate attempt to go over there.
No, ma'am. I mean the atmosphere is like that. There we have all the signs, alphabetical signs written over there on the walls. Like इसको ये बोलते हैं, इसको ये बोलते हैं, and the concept over there is brilliant, and the type of positive vibes which you get from these people are next level. To be very honest. So this is all about. We wanted to share.
True, true. I
Like,
agree. I agree.
yeah, I mean these people are like are us only. Okay, it's just they need a
Yes,
platform,
exactly.
they need platform, and they need opportunities to grow and excel.
True, true.
धीरे
I
धीरे.
agree, and that is why I feel, yeah, that schools should take efforts, to build that kind of a environment for them.
मैम अभी है बट बहुत कम है ऐसे लोगों के लिए, अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं बट कम है. तो वही है कि अच्छा है कि
Because
धीरे
there are
धीरे
challenges. Because there are challenges.
challenges, right? Absolutely. So yeah, ma'am. So Seema, moving to the end of the webinar. So ma'am, in your opinion, like how can the support from the government and authorities help to make sign language popular and mandatory in schools? So deaf and dumb children don't have to opt out, like to opt out of the schools and go to other countries to complete their higher education and degrees. So what are your
I
views on
think
this?
the first and the foremost important thing is that they need to have a healthy conversation. And when I say healthy conversation, it means taking all the stakeholders into consideration, right from the concerned party, that is those children,
Mm-hmm.
to the parents, to the teachers and the government body. All need to come together and work on it and to take it very seriously, empathetically, with a very, very, I will say, a kind heart, that is so very important.
That's very
To
important.
put yourself in their shoes. Because I know that schools also have issues, but the government can definitely support it. Colleges have a lot of issues. But if the government makes it mandatory, and not only make it mandatory, but offer support. Now, if you see to ISL, the Indian Sign Language, you will find that there are only 300 certified trainers in ISL. This number of trainers has to increase, and if every school is compelled to have one such trainer at least in the school, I think people will get into this, they will start learning it, because that is going to provide more of job opportunities to them. And I have seen people with impaired hearing and speaking ability, those are the ones who are also taking up this as their certified job, So if the government makes special efforts for this, what I feel is that our challenge is reducing the number of students in the class. So if government also keeps a tab on that, it will sort out a lot of problems. And making arrangements to see, even in government schools, that there is a special room, auditory room, sanctioned in every school, at least in one ZP school, one main school, so that children over there can be. So then you can have partial mainstreaming, you can have total mainstreaming, and you can have team teaching also. So if government makes all these facilities, I don't think children will have to move out, because these children have very unique needs, and these unique needs are to be taken care of. Again, when we talk of hearing impaired, it is not only total deafness, it is beyond that. There are some who are partially deaf. Again, what happens in the normal schooling is that there is a lot of chaos and noise around, and these children find it very difficult to learn things in this kind of a surrounding. This is a physical challenge which they have. So this needs to be overcome, and that is why the hybrid model works very well. Lack of sufficient intensity in taking this ahead is something which is working as a barrier,
missing out,
and that is what is stopping the government to take things ahead. I think if these things are taken care of, because the benefits which we are going to derive out of it, there will be no brain drain, which is the main thing. Secondly, the kind of self-efficacy skills which the child will be developing, the self-esteem, and he will be able to stand on his own feet. Above all, if all these roadblocks are taken care of, I think if all the emotional issues which are a main concern of these children today, because I have seen them, their main concern is that they don't have a vent for their emotional, I will say, not only the saturation, that needs a vent, but that vent is not available because of this communication barrier. So if government makes all this available, I don't think they will have to go out for higher studies. And this should become mandatory not only for schools, but for colleges also. But I will stress more on schools, because these are the early years. And in early years, I think the foundation of communication is well built. So here, if they work on it, it will help.
Absolutely, ma'am. Very well said. So, yeah, obviously, from school itself, the foundation should be laid. Yeah. So, Seema, ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your views on this beautiful topic. And it was great interacting with you, ma'am. So, thank you so much. And to all our viewers who are watching us, if you haven't subscribed our channel yet, do subscribe for regular updates. Till then, stay happy, stay safe. Thank you, everyone.